There's a bit of a little light shining in the trucking industry. Another truck driver got awarded the Highway Angel Award. We don't get to report on really good stuff. It's usually like something crappy in the industry going on. How about something good?
Sounds great.
Yes. Here's what it says. It says TCA names Texas trucker Highway Angel for aiding crash victims. It's usually what the criteria is, Highway Angel. People gotta be going, wow, he was like an angel in disguise. So it says a driver with 37 years worth of experience was recently honored for his actions at the scene of an accident on a rain-soaked highway. Yeah, probably somebody lost. It says the Truckload Carriers Association recently named truck driver. Okay, so they named Roy Chandler from Rockport, Texas, a TCA Highway Angel for stopping to help a woman who crashed into a semi-truck on a rainy highway in Northeast Texas. It says Chandler works for Diamond Transportation System, Inc. out of Racine, Wisconsin. Wow, good for you, buddy. What was his first name? Did it say?
Congratulations.
Roy, that's Troy without a T.
Still not you, though.
It's still not me. I never got the Highway Angel.
No.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, though. I stop for people. I seen a video yesterday, believe it. It's just weird how ironic this was. I seen a video yesterday. This dude, slow motion, but he crashed his motorcycle and slid. And he was just laying there by the bike. And it was on a highway, and people are just going by him.
That's sad.
Truckers, cars, everybody. Finally, some some people in a car stopped and were trying to get him. And then once they stopped, then another party or two stopped. But like people were just literally going by, nobody helping him. It was kind of really.
Was his bike still laying down?
Yeah, bike was laying down, and so was he. They were both laying down.
See that sometimes people lose so much faith in humanity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
anyways, eventually people did stop, but I was kind of hoping the trucker would have stopped. He didn't. It says, since the TCA Highway Angel program's inception in 1997 of August, right around 1,400 truckers have been recognized as a Highway Angel for kindness, courtesy, courage displayed on the job. So kindness, courtesy, and courage displayed. So it does take courage sometimes. You not everybody, situations can be dangerous also when you're going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And trying to stop and help somebody, you got to be careful. Then, there's a lot of companies out there that have rules. You're not allowed to pull over and help. For real.
Right. No, it can be very sometimes disheartening if you are a person that knows you want to stop, but you can't stop for whatever reason, and you have to look at it that way instead of thinking what you really truly wanted to do.
Look, I'm not knocking anybody that they're going to lose their job if they stop to help somebody. But if it was me and somebody looks hurt, I'm stopping. I don't care. I don't care what my company rules are. I'm stopping.
Right. No, I mean, there's times where I've wanted to stop for people. I just know as a woman stopping for certain people, I can't, only because today's society makes it very difficult for you to want to stop for some people because there is a big thing going on where they were attacking people when they would pull over. It was like a baby just sitting on the side of the road or a woman pushing a stroller, and you're thinking you're stopping for something good, and it ended up being a gang-related type of indiction or indiction.
Incident?
No. When you're
initiation.
Thank you. Couldn't get that one out.
The gang initiation. The gang initiation. But you know what's funny? I seen a couple videos recently of that where there's a broke down pickup at a red light, turned sideways, and there's people hiding, and it's near the border. And so a trucker kept driving. He was smart because people were trying to stop him, of course, to rob him. And I agree with you. There are situations if you're on a back road.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're on a back road, I mean, there was one recently, I think in Ohio, where somebody was on a back road, a trucker stopped to help a woman, and then somebody came running out and they robbed the guy.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I think helping sometimes could be better off picking up your phone and calling and going, hey, there's somebody stranded out in the middle of nowhere here. I wasn't, secure in stopping, especially if you're a lady. I would never tell a woman to stop in the middle of nowhere to help somebody. And I understand you might want to, but you're right. There are a lot of times where something does happen. But this particular incident was literally right there on a busy highway where, people were just going by. I mean, there was no, I don't think there was a mugging going to happen there.
No, there's just like you said, there's situations where, if you don't feel comfortable, you can do. I've called 911 for something to those effects. Hey, there's someone strange walking. They look disoriented.
I agree. So Roy Chandler, congratulations for being when you think about Highway Angels, 1,400 since it's a 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
August.
And when you really think about that, that's 27. Well, this August will be 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1,400 divided 27 into 1,400. What does that go as far as an average per year? It's really not that high. So let's see. How many say 1,400 divided by 27 years? It's an average of 51 truckers are noted as a highway angel per year average.
Almost weekly.
Yeah, there you go. That's great. So it's almost once a week a trucker gets noted that he did something really good. I think that number should increase.
No, of course it would be nice to have it increased because that means that there's more drivers that can be doing, helping other people.
And let's say this also. I will guarantee you, because I know there's a lot of good drivers out there, Ruthann. I would say there's a lot that do help people, and nobody ever says a word.
Right.
In fact, we just had a truck driver that, what did he do? I think there was one that helped the cops stop somebody, and once he seen the cops got him, he just
drove off.
He drove off.
Right.
And they were looking for him to give him an award.
I think that was that in Georgia?
I don't remember.
Georgia. I can't remember where it was, but I remember the article. I do remember the article. They were trying to help him, and once the driver seen that the police had everything under control, or in a matter of speaking, everything was taken care of, he literally just drove off.
Exactly. And there was another one where he helped a woman, I think, broke down or whatever, and he got her to safety on a busy highway and got her to where she can get a wrecker or whatever it was. And same thing, he drove off. He didn't want somebody to make a big deal out of something. To be honest with you, a lot of people will tell you that. It's like, I once had a guy tell me, yeah, man, I make my child support, and I'm going, what do you want, an award for something you're supposed to do?
Yeah. Pay for your child that you wanted or didn't want, but still took care of.
Right.
You did it.
well, it's like this trucker, he was saying, look, man, I don't need an award for something I should do. I should help people. Some guys just feel that I'm just doing what you're supposed to do versus, hey, I need a big pat on the back and need a big award. I'm not saying that the truck drivers shouldn't, because it's nice that they do get these awards for the simple reason that the motoring public can see that the trucking industry is not all bad people.
Right. We have so many people look at it as being the greasy, ugly, fat, just gross society that are truckers. And
is there skinny ones? I'm kidding.
Not in the, well, if they're the skinny ones, they're the ones that have no teeth and their hair is all greasy. They have bad images on truckers, and it's not the truckers. That's not how truckers look.
So you're saying that's what the public perceives them.
Exactly. They look at us being these just horrible looking people. I mean, just the ugly society.
Yeah. I seen a big write-up the other day, right? And these are people that don't drive a truck. a lot of lately I've been seeing them on blogs saying, I hate truckers. I hate you guys so much. You guys are such bullies on the road and blah, 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 blah. And this one page where it said, if you got something, thank a trucker, right? And everybody's going, well, then how about I go and thank the police? And I thank the guy that hands me my Big Mac. And I thank the guy that's doing his job. And I was thanking the guy that's doing his job. And so now a lot of these pages that we're trying to glorify truckers, which our page glorifies truckers a lot of times. Like we like recognizing drivers on our page. But sometimes you got the public getting sick and tired of hearing it. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, why do I got to thank you for doing your damn job? What they don't realize is what a truck driver goes through to do his job. It's like above and beyond the normal job.
Right. You just don't get paid for doing your 9-hour shift or your 8-hour shift and having your lunch break and getting that guaranteed salary and all that. You don't have that as a truck driver. You're away from your home. You know, it's like the military. People forget what great people we have in the military, what they're doing for our country. They don't remember that they're still out there away from their family, jeopardizing their lives, doing so many things for us that we don't see. And that's the same thing with drivers. They do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, if you really think about the hours a driver puts out there, an over-the-road driver now, okay? The hours he puts out there, I've been there, okay? All the hours you're putting in out there, and you get paid so little. And the things your companies actually ask you to do, okay, a lot of times aren't even part of the job description. And you're out there for weeks at a time. And what does an average trucker bring home these days? Maybe $1,200 clear? You know what I mean? And so it's like, think about it. If you come home every 2 weeks for 2 days and you bring home $1,200 each week, and then you go away for another 2 weeks, how is that really justified at especially today's inflation?
It's not justified, really.
It's not.
No,
so when
you're not really home 2 days too.
So when you guys see something that says thank a trucker, we're not asking you to, bow down and worship the trucker. But it is nice for, I think it's nice when somebody says, hey, man, I really appreciate you guys, doing your thing. And I've been seeing some nice blogs lately where people are trying to show truckers honking their horn, doing the fist pump and all that good stuff. So there's a side of the industry that is a lot more caring and a lot more gentle than the public does perceive trucking.
Yeah.
So,
kind of to go with what you're saying, honestly, I do think if I'm at a fast food and I'm getting a soda or something like that, I do say, hey, thanks. What's it hurt someone to be polite? And by saying thank you. So those people that don't say, well, should I thank the guy for the Big Mac? Well, yeah. What's so hard about it? Would you like to someone say thank you for handing them the shopping cart? I mean, it's not their job. They didn't have to do it. They just were being polite.
That's a great point. It really is. I always do the self-checkout at Walmart. But yesterday, it was really weird. I was getting bananas, and this kid was like a cashier, I guess. Well, he's a cashier at Walmart. And I'm getting bananas, at that end aisle where down towards the pharmacy.
Yeah.
And so I look over and he's just standing there with nobody to wait on. And I go, hey, I'll just go ahead and get in your line. So I pull out my stuff, right? And he doesn't even look at me, ask me. He doesn't even, he absolutely has zero niceness to him. And I looked at him and I went, hey man, thank you. Have a great day, buddy. I just literally felt bad for him. And like you said, what does it hurt to thank somebody?
It doesn't. It doesn't hurt anybody to smile. It doesn't hurt anybody to thank someone. It's called being polite.
Yeah, nobody thanks.
Nice.
Nobody thanks a truck driver.
Well, I thank you. Thank you, driver.
Thank me for the past deliveries.
Well, yeah, but thank you, driver, listening. Okay. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, you drivers out there, we thank you for the stuff that we're using right now. Anyways, Ruth, I don't want to move on. It's kind of weird that we're talking about the public and we're talking about the people out there in La La Land that are, have no idea what's going on in trucking.
Okay.
It's weird that we're talking about this because that's really what I wanted to talk about today.
Well, let me hear what you want to talk about.
You know what? I'm going to take a break.
Tease.
Drivers, if you're looking for a local, home, everyday driving job, apply with Carter Lumber today. They have positions for Class A and Class B local drivers. They can take experienced drivers, students, and non-CDL drivers. With over 160 locations, chances are they have a position for you. So go to carterlumber.com/talkcdl and apply today. Again, that's carterlumber.com/talkcdl. Thank you. Hey drivers, are you sick of watching the other drivers bypass the weigh station while you are held up going through yourself? Well, download Drivewyze today at www.drivewyze.com. That's DRIVEWYZE.com, and start bypassing the scales yourself. If you're a small carrier, an owner-operator, or even a big fleet looking for something better, check out Drivewyze today. And remember, there's no equipment, no transponders needed when you're using Drivewyze. Check them out for a free download at www.drivewyze.com. If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076. And tell them Talk CDL sent you. Truck Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today. All right, we are back. And here's what I like to say. Attention, non-truckers. Attention, all you people out there on the road that are zero trucking at all. And I mean it. Attention, attention. Give me your attention. Just for a short bit, Ruth Ann, I'd like to talk to other people other than truckers today. Interesting, isn't it?
I am curious.
Well, here's what I'd like to talk about. Well, let's start with, first off, the story of one of our associates recently getting run over by a semi-truck on his motorcycle.
Yes.
So we had recently a person that we know. Mm-hmm. He was driving along. Did you tell me he was going on to an off ramp, a get on ramp?
Yeah, he was getting on a get on ramp outside of Dade City, Florida.
So he's in Dade City, Florida. He's getting on one of the highways, and somehow he didn't see the tractor trailer?
100%, I'm sure he's seen him, but judging by what the police or what they're thinking, because he's not coherent enough to really explain what's happened to him yet, they think that while he was getting on, the tractor trailer was getting over from the passing lane to the regular lane, which is really odd when you think about it, because when you are getting over for that ramp, you don't get back over until you've cleared it. So there's a lot of confusion on exactly why they merged themselves together, because that's exactly what happened. The motorcycle and the tractor trailer decided to go into the same exact lane.
Okay, so here's what I wanted to talk about more than anything. This is the motoring public, okay? Listen to this. I'd like to talk to the guy that cuts truckers off. I'd like to talk about the brake check guy. I'd like to talk to the sneak around the trucker while he's making a right turn guy. I'd like to talk to the pass the trucker and then slow down in front of him guy. I'd like to talk to the not paying attention to the giant wall coming down the highway guy. And the assume a trucker is trying to hold you up so you're going to screw around and mess with him guy. I'd like to talk to all those four-wheelers. Seriously, these are people that drive down the highway every day and complain about tractor trailers. They have no patience, they're in a hurry, and they're reckless. And they get killed a lot of times or maimed. It's like our friend. Now, we don't know that our friend was at fault, but here's what I would say about that particular incident. Okay? A tractor trailer normally is about 70 feet long. Okay?
Yes.
So when you pull out, if you're a car and you pull out in front of a tractor trailer because you didn't see him coming, or you're merging onto a highway and you're just assuming that he's going to move over for you, that's like a giant grinder. If you get sucked underneath a tractor trailer, it's going to rip your limbs off. Go ahead.
That's what happened to him.
Well, his one did. He's lucky he didn't go under and just get like ground up. I mean, when you have 80,000, that's 40 tons. 40 tons of steel and rubber coming at you. You know, when we recently did the story on that UPS driver from a way back that was fired because he was making a left-hand turn and he had a green arrow. He was making a left-hand turn and he had a green arrow, and UPS fired him because he didn't see the guy coming down the road at 70 miles an hour and stop, even though he had the green arrow. He really, they termed him basically because he should have seen the guy coming. Well, it's the same with the motoring public. If you look, what's that old saying? Look both ways. If you look both ways at intersections, at yields, guys, seriously, you're pulling out in front of a death machine. Okay, not every, and here's the other thing. When you're merging onto a highway, somebody might be in the trucker's blind spot on the left side. Therefore, he can't move over to let you in. And yet you're going to try to force your way in there. You're asking for a death shot. What do you think?
Well, I think, in my opinion, that might have been what happened with this trucker. Is he was coming over, and our associate was coming up the ramp, and thought for whatever reason the truck was going to stay over, and didn't realize he was coming over until it was too late.
Right.
Because he was in the trucker's blind spot.
Well, see, when you're in that situation, first off, the sign says yield. You're better off letting that faster traffic get down the highway ahead of you. Or if I have a motorcycle, I'm going to gun it and just get down there if it's a clear opening. But the bottom line is, don't try to merge in beside somebody and push somebody over. That's just ridiculous. How about the guy that brake checks the trucker? How about that? I literally watched this the other day. This guy, now I don't know why he did it, but he went flying out, and this one trucker was going down a mountain. And this guy went and literally got out into the hammer lane, and there was a trucker already in the right lane going slow. This guy gets out and then jams on his brakes. And here comes a trucker that's just cruising down the mountain. And there was no way this trucker was going to be able to stop. And he punted this. I mean, when he bumped this guy, he just went flying. But you know what? What else could the guy do? Why kill yourself because somebody... You know, it's one thing if you get out in the passing lane and then you're going at least the speed. This guy literally just hit his brakes. purposely.
There's what he just did is jeopardize every single person on that road. Because if the driver would have slammed his brakes on to try and stop, then anybody that was around him, you know, if he's a tractor trailer, when you slam your brakes on, what's going to happen to your trailer? It's going to start coming around, right? You're jackknifing. He could have really killed many people on that interstate because of the situation he just put that trucker in.
I really believe that a four-wheeler thinks, because they know it's 18-wheeler. They know it's 18-wheelers. I think they assume 18 wheels, 18 brakes, a lot easier to stop. I do. I think that the regular general motoring public has no idea that it takes, I think it's like 2 football fields to stop at like 55 miles an hour. Go ahead. 1
football field, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was 2.
I thought it was 1, but either way.
Why don't you go ahead and Google it since you, you know, thought it was 1.
Yeah, I'd rather be.
Yeah, but whether it's 1 or 2, the bottom line with it is, you know what the bottom line is? A tractor trailer can't stop on the dime. So again, this podcast is more for the motoring public. Do yourself a favor, and when you see a truck driver coming, why get in the path of something that's just that big and that dangerous? I just really think there's a lot of ignorance out there. And that's really, I wanted to do this podcast basically for the people that are sharing the road with truckers. You find it?
Yeah, and you are right. I've been wrong. I thought all these years it was 1. It says, in order for a tractor trailer or semi-truck to avoid an accident, the driver has to begin braking much earlier than a passenger vehicle. In fact, a truck driver traveling at a normal highway speed can take almost 200 yards or the equivalent of 2 football fields to completely stop a fully loaded big rig.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew I was right. I just wanted you to see it.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You're always welcome.
Thank you, babe.
For me always being right. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, next guy. How about the guy that tries to sneak around the trucker? Do you know how many accidents? And this one, I think, this is the one that I think the four-wheelers are just about as dumb as it gets. First off, if you don't pay attention, just because a trucker's splitting the lane, I'm talking about a guy making a right-hand turn in a town or a city, right? He's making a right at a red light. So now he's got to swing out a little bit. Okay, a lot of times he's got to swing out a little bit. So sometimes they'll split the lane. They'll stay like in the 2 lanes maybe, but trying to hug that right lane so nobody creeps up. And you'll always get some clown, and it's always young. It's usually a younger person, okay, that thinks they're going to gun it on the right and go ahead and beat him to the right turn. And I couldn't tell you how many videos I've seen of cars pinned up against the telephone pole, or their car is like about to flip over because the trucker was just making a right and he couldn't. Once a trucker starts making that right-hand turn, he cannot see back to his tail anymore. You cannot see back once your truck is jacked. And so these people that try to shoot around him or her, okay, know this, for all you people that haven't been run over yet, it's the odds of you getting around that trucker, because there's a reason why he's swinging out. It's because those back tires on that trailer are going to start coming in. Okay. And once they start coming in, that little gap that you thought you were going to take, that closes up real fast.
Yeah. It just takes the minute of the tractor to kind of get over, it's not staying open at all. He's giving that so that he don't cut the front end of the trailer into the telephone pole.
Right, exactly.
That's the only purpose.
Yeah, the reason he's pulling out there is because them tandems are those back tires. If I call them tandems, the motoring public might not know what I'm talking about. Those back wheels are going to start getting real tight in there, and that gap is going to close up. Is really what I'm trying to say. That you're driving in, it's about to shut. So don't go in that gap. That's not a safe space.
And here's the thing. Use whatever knowledge you can possibly pull out of yourself and think, why else would he put that gap there if it wasn't that he's going to be needing it? His turn signal's on. He's turning. That gap is there because he's needing that gap for a reason.
Okay, here's what I would say about what you just said. And it's a great comment. But the problem is with your comment is we have to assume that people in four-wheelers have common sense.
That's true. You're right again.
Right. Well, that's what you just said. Why else would they? And it's like they don't think that way. They don't realize that in any way. So I don't know. Maybe they just assume the trucker doesn't know what he's doing and he's hogging 2 lanes. I don't know. But the little right blinky thing, okay, it's called the turn signal. That should be your indication that, hey, I better be careful here. This dude's about to make a move.
Just that and that sticker that's usually on the back of all the trailers that show you getting something being X'd as the, next to the trailer as they're making that little weird turn thingy.
There you go. And then here's the other thing. You had mentioned this last week because we witnessed it and you went, wow, look at that. Remember, we were on the turnpike and that guy was passing the trucker and he didn't get 2 feet past the trucker and he came right over.
Yeah, he didn't give any space whatsoever.
I mean, and the truck driver was very professional. He backed off. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do because, why let some dummy, cost you a job maybe or whatever the case is, because as soon as somebody checks the dash cam video, you know what a safety director is going to say to the trucker, right? You should have backed off.
Yeah.
And so he was smart. He was smart and he backed off. Okay, so that was basically most of the stuff I want to talk to. More than anything, and again, I guess I have to assume they have common sense too. When you see the big giant 70 feet of wall coming down the road, wait the half a second. Wait the half a second. Let them get by you, dude. Why risk yourself and your family and everything else out there? You cannot win against a tractor trailer. You cannot win. If he hits you, your death odds go way up.
Well, I agree. And when you see the wall coming, it's going to be very hard for that wall to slow down or come to a stop. So it's easier to let it go past you so that when you decide to come out, you can get up speed faster and go past them, and then you're gone and on your way.
I got one last thing I'd like to say to this guy. The guy that assumes truckers are screwing with them. And I mean, like, for example, you have 2 truckers trying to pass each other. Now, yes, somebody should either back off or get around. I understand that. But these are guys that are at work. They're trying to put their 10 hours in. They got to get to bed. They got to make deliveries. And just because you're hung up for a couple miles, okay, going up a hill or whatever the case, you're going to take it upon yourself once that trucker finally gets around somebody to go and brake check them or cut them off or start
show him now.
Right, you're going to go ahead and teach that trucker a lesson, right? I got to tell you honestly, do you know how many guys honestly I've seen the videos where it does look like somebody's trying to teach the trucker a lesson and he ends up, I seen one the other day where he ended up into a wall. And I mean into a wall. And guess what? It was his fault because he was so pissed off that he tried to thread the needle once the truckers were just about by each other. And when he tried to thread the needle, his back wheel caught the trucker's bumper. He did it to himself and went into like 50 spins and smashed into the wall. They said he walked away, that this guy actually survived it.
Wow.
But it was like just barely enough gap. They call it threading the needle. Just enough gap there to where he shot the hole. And guess what? He should have waited about another couple seconds because he just about got himself killed. And I don't know if there was people with him. I don't think there was. But man, did it was horrible looking and it's scary. And guys and gals, if you think you're going to teach a trucker a lesson, I can assure you it's about a 99% chance that you're the person going to be getting hurt.
Well, pretty good chance of it, definitely. You know, the other day when we were discussing with, I was talking to my mom and Hunter regarding the length of a football field for the truckers to stop and stuff like that. I'm going to let them know that I was wrong. But here's another thing that I was talking to them about, that you were saying 18 wheels, 18 brakes. I was telling them how when the trailer is unloaded, that those brakes are made to stop heavier weight, that they're not made like a standard car brake. That when the brake of a tractor is compressed, it's, if they're empty like a bobtail, they'll hop because they're made to make it heavier so those brakes don't stop right. And it kind of would go with the same concept of what you're saying, where these people, because they never even thought of it. I'm like, no, those brakes are made to stop faster when it's hard, when they're heavier. So when they're empty or just bobtailing, they're still not going to stop correctly because they don't have the weight that those brakes are accustomed to or what they're needing to come to a brake better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe we should call this "Mess with a Trucker and Get Dead."
It would be a good topic.
Mess with a trucker and get dead.
Yeah.
But, and you know, seriously, I may title it that. But, you know, the bottom line is, you know, if I could just get this message out to the motoring public, stop screwing around big trucks. Okay? When you're passing them, get down the damn road.
Right.
Don't get in front of a trucker and slow. That's another thing. Even though they're not brake checking, they'll pass a trucker and then they'll still drop 10 miles an hour. Like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you? What are they even thinking? It's like, don't do that. Don't brake check. Don't swerve. Don't pull out in front of one. Don't just merge thinking one's going to jump over for you because he may have somebody on the other side of him and he can't get over. You just can't see that there's somebody over. Mm-hmm. This is the advice to everybody, I'm telling you. And to the real dummies that try to sneak up on the right side of a guy and then end up against the telephone pole trying to make a right-hand turn, you know what? Honestly, don't do it. You know, just if you're hearing this podcast, respect the giant 70-foot wall coming down the road. Respect it for your own life. That's all I've got this week, Ruth Ann, for this podcast. What do you got? You got the word of the day from Word Genius.
I do.
Word Genius. You know, Word Genius, I'm going to say it again. They're not a sponsor, but they 100% make Ruth Ann and myself smarter every week. What was that last word we heard? Evanesce?
Evanesce.
Yeah. What a nice word. What do you got?
Cervine.
Let's hear that again.
Cervine.
Cervine. Crivine.
Cervine.
So what does cervine mean?
Relating to deer or deer-like.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Like DEER? Deer?
Yep, like the animal.
Cervine, huh?
Yep. It's relating to deer or deer-like. The ballet dancer had a charming cervine style to her footwork. I made a cervine costume to go along with the woodland theme of the party.
That was really cool.
Watch out for cervine.
Yeah, watch out for those cervine jumping in front of you. They don't look too graceful when they're doing that, especially when they're going boing.
Or stuck to the front.
Exactly. We're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.